What's up, guys? Long time no see. Uh, it's been a crazy ride. First, I want to talk about the YouTube channel. Whoever gets this message, we need your help. So, as you know, the YouTube has gone completely insane. About 2 years ago, when we started this channel, we paid for advertising, and we had our SEO scores like in the 90, whatever it was, and we wound up ranked #1 over Master Wong. And you'll see my first video has like 10,000 views, something like that. And after we hit #1 on the Google searches, the next day, all of our videos in our channel completely stopped growing. And it just, like nothing, it was like literally, we were paying for advertisements, we were doing everything right. You've seen our older videos, that's why we stopped, going so overboard trying to make high quality content, because the system itself attacked us. I don't know if it's from some political nonsense or whatever. Like, this isn't a political channel. We don't talk about anything crazy. We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, but for whatever reason, somebody in the YouTube courts decided that we can't grow. But even after we paid them. And it's funny because in the comments, someone threatened me and said that they're going to make sure that we never make it. And they're going to talk to the admins. So I'm going to ask you guys to do, especially you guys who are still on Facebook. Another place I got banned, right? And kind of funny because I got banned. I didn't do anything wrong. I found a meme on my timeline. I copied it and pasted it to my page. And I got banned permanently for a meme that they left up on other people's pages. So either I have the worst luck and I'm just getting, or there's somebody out to get me. But either way, if you want more content, I'm gonna need your guys' help. So those of you who are in like the Tai Chi forums and things like that, I need to get at least another 700 subscribers. Subscribers disappeared, nothing has moved. For me to keep doing this for you guys, you gotta help me out. I'm by myself, literally in the middle of nowhere. I have no help whatsoever. It's literally me, my dog, and my cat on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. So, if you want to help out, I know a couple of you guys actually donated to the channel. It's a guidingondivinity@gmail for PayPal. I appreciate you guys a lot, and I would prefer, rather than money, you're supporting the channel. So if you can, try to at least get one of your friends to subscribe to the channel, help the content grow. So that's what I got for that. Now I'll give you a little something. Let's talk about power. I've been really considering this last month and trying to figure out what's really missing, and what should be taught. And at the end of the day, they don't want you guys to know the truth. And I think it was Chen Salas, he says something about one of his videos talking about the essence of things, and how, like, if you look at one thing and you try to compare to something else, you start thinking of the other thing, and then down the line it progressively becomes different. For some reason, Tai Chi has become double light. Now if you look at the yin yang, it's not double black with 2 white dots. Okay? Now, in the secret closed door teaching, and I know this for a fact because the old masters in Chinatown, they've showed me what they teach outside, and what 99% of the population thinks is Tai Chi is not Tai Chi. Competition push hands is not real Tai Chi. Okay? You got to go and look at its root elements of 8 immortals and 5 ancestors. Go on, dog. Go inside. So, knowing this, let's talk about the long power versus short power, right? When you see people doing, pushing things, and you see a guy bouncing a million miles away, yada yada. These are just physics tricks, elastic collision and weight distributions, and it's just physics. People who are doing it for real, not the fake guys. You see a lot of people who fake what you see me do, and you see a lot of these real masters do. They fake it, for views or for whatever. But in the end of the day, it's just physics tricks. Okay, there's no mystical. Spirituality is just science that they haven't figured out a name for yet. So when you see the long power, that long power has a usefulness. I think when terms of Popeye, is it? When you do the pushing, the long power is useful. It's like, and I've done this in work, I was working in security, using the long power push to create distance or to throw someone into something, which is more likely. Like, there's been times where I had to throw people out of clubs and studios, and I see the wall behind me, and instead of hitting the guy, I just and I throw him into the wall, and he splats into the wall like a cartoon character. The fight's over. So the long power push has a usefulness, but 9 out of 10 times that long power push, in what part of a fight the guy's coming at me, he's gonna stab me or kill me, I go and I push him and he goes 20 feet away, and then what's he gonna do? He's gonna get pissed off and come back at me. And if you're doing normal Tai Chi, you can't run real well. And I talked about some other videos. People who do Tai Chi now, they move like shit. They can't move, right? Because the Tai Chi they're doing is broken. It's not real, okay? It's not meant to do this. It's not meant to be stagnant in one speed and be overly soft. And it's an attribute, but you're only playing with one side of the wheel. It's not okay. So what's the point I'm trying to get to? The difference between long power and short power is not even how fast you initiate it, but the size of the waveform. So, for instance, like long power, right? Short power, right? Now, could you do long power from what seems to be an externally short move? Yes, because you can take that wave on the inside of your body and create a long wave that's expressed in a small area, okay? You can take a long wave and express it in a short area, okay? So it gets a little confusing to talk about internals, because the external form, right, when you're first learning, should be displaying what's happening inside the body. So for instance, if I do, I always say do middle frame forms, like big, larger frames you can see. When you're doing, let's say, ward off, what you're seeing in the ball that you're carrying, and as this ball is spinning, this is what should be happening inside your guts. So if I'm here, you can see that this bucket is turning, and then it's turning here. My hip is scooping under, and turning here. So what's happening on this sphere is happening in this sphere, which is happening in this sphere. I know this is a little disjointed, but I want to give you guys some kind of content today, not just beg for supporters. So, but I hope you're following what I'm saying, that a lot of times these concepts can become disjointed because when you're dealing with something that you can't see, you can only feel, it gets a little difficult to explain, especially when I don't have a partner here. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, more important for training these powers is to be able to feel them, but to be able to feel them, you first need an external frame that will be able to display that action and reference it, okay? So over time, you can get short power, long power from the same movement, from the same expansion reflex. And it looks like nothing, but people who've seen me and touched me, when I do that, it feels like you got hit with a bat, okay? So the movement looks the same, and I can do this and you can get a long power, I can do this and you get a short power, okay? I can do this and you don't feel anything. Because, it's the internal, external doesn't always have to match, but for the beginning it should. For the majority of your training, you want to be able to sync up all these spheres, right? If what's happening here is happening here is happening here, okay? So how do I condense this? Because I know these videos now are just becoming as a dialogue, just a dissertation of sorts. So how do I condense this for you? One of the exercises, there's two exercises that my teachers, two different teachers used to teach me. One was for blocking, and done this before, where you do the wrist turn, right? The other one was basically you do all of your motions and you practice flicking your power up, okay? Okay? You have to practice throwing that energy out, because in a fight you can't use soft, long power, okay? You need to have yang. You need, in nature, everything that's alive is a circle, right? Even evil things come at you as a wheel rolling towards you. The only way to stop them is to cut them, okay? So if, for instance, someone's attacking me, I want to use a circle, and let's just say, brush knee also in the beginning of brush knee, there's actually an elbow break and a trap in there, right? Guy comes out, or roll back, dilute, right? He comes at me, and I grab the elbow and I roll him back. This looks like a circle, but the bone break happens on the linear axis of the circle. So if I took a circle and put two sticks on the end, and I turn the circle, the sticks move. Okay? So the presented force, resultant force always comes out linear. Okay? So understanding that, make the round straight and the straight round, as they say in the classics. You know, make the soft hard and the hard soft. You know, you guys have to. I know I'm repeating myself these last couple of videos, but you have to start thinking like this. You have to start thinking outside of the social boxes and start thinking about 1,000 years ago how would this be done. Okay, when warlords are raiding the freaking Mudang Mountain, they're not going to be like, no. These guys are running around with swords, running up walls. Okay, and you know, don't let them fool you with all the promo videos. When they train in the Wudang, they're not nice to each other. They're hard AF. They're hard. Okay, this idea, these fake ideas of what Tai Chi really is as a martial art, it doesn't work. And you need to be realistic with that. Your competition push hands is bullshit. Okay? It doesn't work in reality. No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna ever face off like this and not move. And then, oh, I'm gonna play with you. It's nonsense. Okay? It's the same thing as Taekwondo, right? Taekwondo has how many hand sets? Okay? They have all these hand sets. Okay? You have all these blocks, all this stuff, and then you get into a fight. Modern Taekwondo is bullshit. Okay? It's like you have these forms and then you don't know how to use them. Tai Chi is the same thing. You have so many attacking moves that are not even discussed or referenced anymore. Okay? Dodging, stabbing, brushing, you know, breaking things. Okay? Disassembling body parts. You know, cord cutting, where you take people's tendons off. There's things that are missing from the martial aspect that need to be brought back, and I'm not going to go into too many of them because I was asked not to, but I'm going to let you know they exist so that people who deserve it, they'll go and they'll find it. So now going back to long versus short power, don't be afraid of the yang side of the form. Okay, you gotta let it out. You gotta practice the combat variation of the form. You have to understand, brush knee can be applied soft and you can use soft power, but there is a point where you have to inject force at a frequency to get an outcome. Okay, you got to think of the slow form is kind of like a check swing in baseball or golf, right? You sit there and you do a check swing and you're swinging nice and light. You're just checking the move, right? You're just checking the move. That's the slow form. You can't play baseball like that. It doesn't work. Okay? You need to take the bat and you need to smack a home run on somebody. So what I need you guys to start thinking like that. You're doing ward off. Ward off left, right? Your ward off, however you guys do it in your form. I really do open variations, meaning common variations, so that no one feels left out or whatever. But at the end of the day, if I'm coming at you with a punch for real, at full speed, okay, you're not going to be able to use your ward off if you're thinking to work like this, and you've never seen a punch coming at your face at full speed. Okay, so there's a social contract in your schools and your communities that allows you to get away with this bullshit. Okay? And you need to be realistic. Alright, now it's okay, you want to do Tai Chi for health, that's fine. We're not talking about that. I think, listen, I always say this. You want to do it as a meditation, it's fine, but don't start saying that that's the real thing. It's not the real thing. Okay? It's not. So start getting into this, and I'm not saying you have to go and be violent, but there's violence in the world. Okay? So you have to have the ability to go from very calm and peaceful to ultra violence to protect other people. And ultra violence in action doesn't mean it's ultra violence emotionally or mentally. Okay? Like when I was, working in the field and doing things like that, it's not like I don't hate these people, right? Like I was patrolling Times Square and I had to take down some fucking, bad people. I didn't hurt them because I hated them. I hurt them because I had no choice. Okay? Like, one time when I was in the Guardian Angels, there was this little alley, 43rd Street between 8th and 9th Avenue, I think it is. And I don't think it's still even there anymore. It's a completely different area now. But when you would turn, there was this little crack. It was like the alley was like maybe this wide, and they used to have like crack and like heroin dealers in there. And long story short, my squad went in there, and there was some commotion, and someone tried to stab me with a needle. So I disassembled his arm. Okay, I didn't have an emotional thing to him. I didn't have any animosity to the guy. It was just like, this is what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that people don't get robbed and raped and addicted to crack. And then this guy just decided to try to stab me. So what was I supposed to do? You know what I mean? And this is me at 15 years old. I was a little crazy. They thought I was I think they thought I was 18 at the time. I was a big kid. But I just reacted. I didn't, train my whole life. That's what I did. And the point I'm trying to say to you is don't mix the idea of physical confrontational violence with emotional ego heart violence. Okay, being strong is not always bad. Okay, it doesn't having. I was once told that I would need to remove all the violence from my voice, right? And it's very difficult for me because even though I have taken many oaths and tried to live this really, humble life in a sense, even though people look at me and they don't see that. They don't see the vegan ex-monk. They see the tough guy from Brooklyn who plays death metal. Okay, so they don't understand the real me because of the presentation I have. That was unfortunately in my upbringing. It had to come out like this because it was needed for me to protect other people and myself. It wasn't like it wasn't a thing about being mean to people. It was actually to protect people that I was forced into this persona. Okay, but it doesn't mean that there's negative emotion or violence in it. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't be afraid of the animal in you. Okay, you have to preserve it and nurture the animal in you. Otherwise, the animal dies, and so do you. It's very difficult for me to talk about these because it's emotional and things to come up. And trying to figure out how to present it to you guys in a natural way that's real. And I don't want to do scripted crap, and I don't want to. I want to, whatever time I have left, to actually communicate with you guys who are still listening as like a real person, So, how do I explain this to you guys? I think like when I was training when I was younger, there was a point between like 13 and 16 where I was really afraid of my own power, and then it got really bad. I left the Guardian Angel for I think, because I lied about my age. So I was there for like 2 or 3 years, even. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But by the time I was like 17, I was going for black belt maybe. I think I got my black belt 90. My first time black belt was 90 something before I went to music school. And I grew up in a violent place. And by the time I got to red belt, I was really I was getting into like the normal street fights and being a douchebag, and I was really, really hurting people, and I felt bad, and so that's one of the reasons I learned Tai Chi, was because I was like, oh, if I can learn some open palm techniques, maybe if I, when they attack me, I can not hurt them as bad and not ruin, because when you get hit with a real reverse punch, I know this because a lot of times you don't know what real martial arts looks like anymore. When you get hit with a real reverse punch straight in your face, your life is different forever. Okay? Like a real reverse punch. I remember I was doing push-ups on concrete, like my knuckles were like calluses, and it was just disgusting. And, I smashed some people's faces up really bad. They deserved it. Don't get me wrong, And, I remember this one fight I got to at Rockaway Parkway in Canarsie. This guy was drunk, and he went, and he basically was talking shit to my female neighbor, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna fuck this bitch up, blah, blah, blah. And this was stupid of me, but I said, well, if you keep talking about it, just fucking do it, bro. And he did it, so then I just punched him in the back of the head. And I was in a bad mood, so I was like, all right, let's just throw down. So I started scrapping him, boxing, okay, because I just want, I wanted to fight the kid. He was an asshole, and he just punched some girl, fucking like I was supposed to do. So we're scrapping, and something happened where he grabbed me, and I backed up into a wall, and I said, get the fuck off me. I backed into this, it was a Rockaway Parkway in 98th Street. There was like a white garage door, and I backed him into the garage door, and I elbowed, and I got off. And then something in my intuition told me something was wrong. and I felt him come from behind me, and like my karate training turned on, and I just threw a side kick, and I hit him right in the stomach, and I heard a piece of metal hit the floor. And he bumped over, and he came, he came at me, and then my soul said, "You have to stop this." So he came at me, and I just went bang, and I hit him right in the face with a reverse punch, and he went down like a ton of shit, and he just came up, and his blood splurting out of his face, and he's like, fuck, and he starts running. I see this guy 6 months later, and this is like, he was terrorizing the neighborhood. Like, he was like a drug dealer, and all, I didn't even know this guy, but I know this is jointed, but most I see him at the L train station, and now he's like, I didn't even recognize him. He's like preppy, and he's dressed, and he looked at me, he's like, "Hey man, yo dude." And I'm like, "Do I know?" He's like, "Yeah." And my friend's like, "Yo, that's the guy." And I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Yo bro, why'd you flip on me, bro?" I'm like, "Yo," and he opened his mouth, and his nose was like this, and his teeth were cracked, and his jaw, and I was like, "Bro, you hit my friend." You hit this girl in the back of her head. You were drunk, beating on a woman in the street. And he's like, "Yeah, you're right, bro. I'm sorry." But now, granted, the ass kicking I gave this guy may have saved his life because he stopped dealing drugs. He got into school. He got a job. He was wearing he went from being, like a hood, a black kid from the hood selling crack, to wearing a suit and like he was a completely different person. So I beat the devil out this kid. But I still felt terrible that I didn't recognize my own power. Why am I telling you this? You have a genetic memory for warfare, all of you. And there's a part of us all that's afraid of our own power. That's afraid of doing violence to people. It's not something you want to do, Like, you never want to hurt people, okay? Unless you're a psychopath, you have, antisocial personality disorder, psychopathy, some kind of like cluster B fuckiness, or you're possessed by Satan. You don't want to go around hurting people. Okay? So you got to recognize that maybe some of these concepts and the fact that I was forced into violence growing up in East New York, Brownsville, where Mike Tyson grew up. That's where I grew up. And I don't look like I belong there, if you didn't notice. And I'm still pretty. So I must have did something. And what I'm trying to say to you is, because you weren't forced to protect other people and protect yourself all the time. You weren't in this hyper-vigilant state. You didn't have to come out and deal with it. And thank God most of you will never get into a fight in your life. But what my master said to me is, we train thousands of hours for a thing that's going to happen in 3 seconds. And you may never have to see those 3 seconds. I pray you don't. I pray you don't have to see as many of those 3-second moments that I did. That's part of the reason why I started sharing the Tai Chi versus the other styles that I've done. One of my masters said he didn't want me to teach those publicly. He wanted them to die with him. But also, it's like, I wanted people to find the middle. You know what I mean? To find that middle where they feel confident in themselves, that they feel safe, and they can bring that balance of the left and right hand path into the middle. You know what I mean? Because being too good is the same as being too bad. If you're too pure in this place, it's the same as being evil. If you are a person who is super egotistical and thinks you're better than everybody, it is the same amount of narcissism as it would be for someone who thinks that, woe is me and the whole world's against me and I'm the victim of everything. It's the same kind of disbalance, and this is going to transfer to your martial arts. So I hope this is making sense. I know I've been doing this dialogue version with you guys. I hope people listening like this. But that's the real concept here about dealing with power and violence. And I know that I personally have a lot to work on in that sense, because you by trying to be too young and too logical, too holding, sometimes people who are hurt that need your help don't get it the proper way, because you're trying to force your help, in a way that doesn't work for them. You know what I mean? So these are things to consider. And it's very similar to doing Tai Chi and doing it in this double light version. If you're not practicing throwing power, and I don't care what martial art you're doing, the reason why I say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not a real martial art, because you cannot use it standalone in warfare. Okay? There is no instant knockout. There is no you stop now. Tai Chi is full of that. The entire form is full of, here, that's broken. Oh, I just ripped your throat out. Oh, you have no eyes. I just ripped your arm off. Oh, there's a broken elbow. Oh, I just cracked your rib. Like, you know, that's the Tai Chi that's in there. Now, my question to you is it being avoided because it's not right? Or is it being avoided because you're scared of your own power? Or the powers that be are scared of you having power? So it's just something to think about. Anything else I should give you guys today? I mean, I hope this is helpful to somebody out there. You know, again, I'm not preparing these videos anymore because I wanted to just be a dialogue. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you guys want some topic, you know, like a couple people have requested topics that I've answered to. If you have a specific question or topic you'd like me to do a video for, I will do that. For right now, I just don't have the inclination or the time to start creating another series of here's a topic of the day shit. So here's what it is. So once again, you know, I appreciate you guys. If you want to help out, you can donate. It's guidingourdivinity@gmail.com for PayPal. But I would prefer that you try to get the channel alive, because for whatever freaking reason, you know, after I paid YouTube and Google for advertisements and I was ranked over Master Wong, all of a sudden, the day after, my entire channel ceased. Okay? So, explain that one to me. Okay? And I have the receipts. So, anyway, that's what I appreciate you guys, and let me know if I can help you guys out. All right? Be safe. See you guys soon.